I want you to think about the process that you use every single day. You know, the one that after you get up and you do the morning routine, you walk into your closet and you think, what am I going to wear today? Some of us, we go to our cell phones and we look at the weather. Some of us, we think about the occasions that we may step into and how we want to appear to others. But I want you to think about from that particular standpoint, what do you appear to look like when you come across to other people as it pertains to the spiritual realm? I believe that the Apostle Paul has something to share with us in Colossians chapter 3, not about fashion, but about spiritual clothing, where Paul says, put on then as God's chosen people, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, and forgiving each other as the Lord has forgiven you. So you must forgive. The Apostle Paul says, put on, which means that it's a deliberate, conscientious act, like putting on a jacket before you walk out into cold weather. But he's not talking about like the denim or the wool jacket that you got in your closet right now. He's talking about grace. And he starts by reminding us of who we are. He says, put on grace, and here is your reminder as to why you are to do that. He says, as God's chosen, you are made holy, and you are beloved of God. So before we act, before we respond to anybody else, Paul says, I need you to understand what your identity is. Paul says, you have been chosen. You are holy. You are beloved. Family and friends, God picked you. God cleaned you. God cherishes you. And because of the things that God has done, Paul says, I need you to realize that there are certain things that you need to wear. He says, wear a compassionate heart when someone doesn't deserve it. He says, I need you to put on kindness when other people are just being flat out rude. He says, I need you to be and showcase humility when pride is looking to speak. He says, I need you to showcase meekness when you have the power to retaliate. He says, but then the last piece of clothing I need you to put on is put on some patience when you're being provoked again and again and again and again. And then Paul says, while you have all of that on, I need you to realize that the greatest thing that you can give beyond that is to bear with one another. What Paul makes the assumption of here is that the church or your marriage or your family is going to be filled with people who frustrate you, who disappoint you, and even people who sometimes wound you. He says, bear with those people. To bear with just simply suggests to hold up, to keep together, to keep enduring with. And Paul says, when you bear up with these people, he says, remember why you're doing it. You're doing it because God picked you. God cleaned you. God cherishes who you are. And then he goes a little deeper in verse number 13, where he says, if anybody has a complaint, forgive each other. And I believe that he said that because of the fact that he says, because Paul had in his mind, as the Lord has forgiven you, so you must also forgive. That's the gospel logic of grace. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because you didn't, and he forgave you anyway. You don't wear grace because people earned it. You wear grace because God clothed you in it when you were still a mess. So let me ask you, Who do you need to wear grace for today? Is it a coworker who's gotten underneath your skin? Is it a family member who still has yet to apologize? Is it a church member who let you down? You don't get to choose who needs grace. You get to choose whether or not you'll wear it. And so Paul says, listen, I need you to realize that it's not for you just to receive grace. Paul says, wear it. Let grace change how you speak. Let grace change how you forgive. Let grace change how you endure. Let grace change how you love. Because when grace becomes your wardrobe, listen to this, mercy becomes your reflex. And in a world starving for compassion, God is calling you to be the one who wears grace well. And so today, if that identifies with you at one point in your life or the other, just say to the Lord, you've clothed me in compassion when we were wrapped in sin. You gave me grace when I deserved your wrath. Now help me wear that same grace for other people. Let your kindness reflect your mercy, our patience reflect your character, and our forgiveness reflect the cross. When you can say that, you can allow the Lord to use you in the saved state that you're in. People of God here at 1223 East Dana, I pray that this message was good for you today. And I pray that you allow grace to be the thing that you wear so that people can be better because you put it on. God bless you today. And we look forward to doing this again next week.